And my dad was an atheist, largely, or agnostic, who worked at NASA as an engineer. And my mom also worked at NASA, but she was a believer. And so I was, constantly torn between the attitudes and the life of non-belief and the attitudes and life of belief. And around the time that I became a teenager, I started to think a lot about these issues. I started to wonder, was there any truth to Christianity? We, as a family, went to church on occasion. It wasn't, I wouldn't call it regular, and I wouldn't call it never. It wasn't Easter and Christmas, but it was maybe once a month, or maybe a little bit more, depending upon the season. And I remember that when I was in high school, that the church that we were attending, it was a Baptist church, and as I like to say, as all good Baptist churches do, it split uh, into two factions that didn't agree much with each other, and ended up most of my family went with the more traditional conservative, or actually fundamentalist is probably the right word, faction. And the pastor that they ended up getting after the dust settled would oftentimes get into the pulpit, and they would have the reading. You might call it a lectionary reading, like the Bible passage for the day. They would have the Bible passage for the day, and then he would start the sermon, and the sermon was not connected to the text in any way that I could tell. And it created like a real cognitive dissonance, if you want, within me, because I was a teenager, and I was struggling. Do I want to believe in this religion? Do I want to believe in Christianity? Of course, I had, started giving some thoughts to other religion, and just asking questions about that.